the research process involves a little bit of shooting and just generally chatting to people, and I sort of work out if there is a possible storyline that can give me the confidence that I could keep on filming over a period of time, and that filming could lead to interesting directions, both in terms of the characters I've chosen and also the events that might be happening, and also the ability to bring in maybe story B and story C, so it's not just focusing on whatever is the main story. Like in this current film, for instance, there were 2 or 3 storylines which were running in parallel. If a film can, and sometimes you don't know that when you start, so you've just got to have a bit of an intuition that this might happen. Often what drives me is knowing that these are interesting, rich characters that I'm going with, and I don't actually have much insight about what might happen to them, but I know that if I go with them, it'll be an interesting journey, and things will happen along the way. Certainly with in the film called The Diplomat with Ramos Horta, that was the case. It's when we started working with him, we had no inkling that the following year the whole situation in Timor would change so quickly. But I don't just make observational films. I do occasionally make quite structured films based around interviews where there's a lot of scheduling and things are really set up. So it depends. It depends on the style you choose, really. The setup means often you'd have an assistant working with the DOP, because it would involve a bit of lighting, and you'd have a sound recordist, and maybe it's an additional person. And I often in the films I make do everything myself. Well, very important. I mean, some directors think they can do it all themselves, but I think it's essential. The editor is the most important part of the team, really, apart from yourself. Somebody that you can rely on to be able to bounce ideas off, and also somebody who's able to take a bit more objective view of what you've shot. So I have an editor involved quite early in production, so that even after I've only shot what maybe only be half, or less than half the story, and even a quarter of the story, I get the editor involved. And the editor spends maybe a couple of weeks shaping the rushes into sequences, and then I can see how the story might progress. We start putting cards up on the board and work out a pattern of scenes that might lead to a narrative structure, or might become a narrative structure at some point further down the track.